Okay, this is Tommy Southgate's character on Crystal. So, the first thing which I'd like to say about Crystal is I find it really interesting how you've taken something which is quite a regular theme in films about women, which is women who are so driven with their career that there's really nothing else to them, in a good way. And you've changed it into a completely new profession, which I've never seen it done with, which is clowning. So yeah, I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that she is so driven by clowning that there's nearly nothing else to her life, especially, and now that clowning's been taken away, there nearly is no life. I would like to know a little more about whether she does have a social life, a personal life, but I think that can be developed with time, especially with the strong base you've got already.
Interestingly, Sarah.
A few things I found really interesting is how strongly and how well you described her faces and the way she sort of she goes from just completely blank, off in another world, and she'll remember the top, and it'll be like yes, and then suddenly she's just back to reality. And I think those dreamings of past days are probably what's holding her back from actually having a future. I just think a sentence you've got in the description, which I think is really interesting, we could go further with, is the fact that you say most of the other regulars in the bar only converse with her to make fun of her. And the first time I read that, I was like, oh, that's really sad. But then the second time I was like, she's a clown. Does she is that why she goes? Does she go because she knows people are going to make fun of her, because she knows she's going to be able to amuse people? Is that the only way she can really get her release, I suppose? It seems as she's not working very much. I'd like to know a little more about why it went wrong. I did read, I somehow got a copy of the old bio which said something about meth and she was in her 40s, and I think if you have moved away from that, that's probably a good thing. Not saying it couldn't go somewhere, but I think moving away from the drugs angle is probably a positive thing. If it does end up being something less stereotypical and more internal, that'd be great.
Which does it have to go a certain way?
And I suppose what she needs is to change her path within what she loves. So she needs to find maybe another part of clowning. So maybe rather than doing circus clowning, she goes into film clowning, or she goes into serious clowning within theatre, or she goes into just clown theatre, which is obviously it would take a lot of research into different types of clowning, and I don't know how much you already know, but I really think you could go somewhere with that and keep it about her in herself rather than adding in a relationship or anything, and just make her a really strong, independent female lead, which would be excellent. Again, I'd like to know a little bit more about why she's getting dragged out of gardens by mobs of parents, but I think that will come with a bit of development, so that's great. Thanks.
And he's written a male character named